I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All Complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CT Review. Today is February 26th, Thursday, 2026. Hope you had a good day. And yo, you can't make this up, bro. Like, I'm just trying to tell you guys, like, you can't make this shit up, right? So we talked about popping down a little bit. This was Monday, the 23rd. I said I was going to draw these projections or ideas, I should say. And today's Thursday, the 26th, right? So yesterday, even in the long 1 hour video yesterday, at the end of it, I brought this back up and I mentioned it, and I was in that buy, remember here, to take out to get to this up here, this high here. I mean this bearish imbalance, and then you had that liquidity pool. Sure enough, we did it after hours. The earnings was yesterday, and notice, I want to make sure I mention this. With Trump's conversations, earnings, this and that, does it look like I need to know what earnings is doing or Trump's saying? If I'm drawing this before any of that, right, and we have already accomplished all this by shooting up, taking out that liquidity, and then selling off, and we're now here. We're right here, I think. Yeah, right here. We're right here, I think. So, come on. Yo, I want to see 10 likes on this bitch for you 10 fucking people who are watching. Otherwise, I ain't making these motherfucking videos no more. I mean, so this is it right here. So we talked about, look how I rated it. Came back down into this little pool, right? We came up, higher high, higher low. We ran for that liquidity. We did it again at the end of the fucking day. I waited all day and I couldn't get it. It's fine. They're little bitches. That's why I say these things, because they know what they doing. They know what they doing, man. They know what they doing. So, and then we ended up opening up with a gap today. When you had that kind of gap, the thing is that that's very strong to say, okay, well, we just took out a pool. Oh, let me do it this way. We took out this pool here, and notice we didn't take out that guy. Real dirty, but whoever's holding the bag is also waiting for this guy, so they just took out that guy. Okay, whatever. But the man, this garbage truck is loud. You can see here, we took out that pool and then we gapped. So that's telling you that, okay, well, who just made money? Well, we had this big run here, right? So this is a sell model here. We had a sell model here, and then we're coming to rate it. I didn't expect it to be this big of a day, but and I'm a little pissed that I dropped the ball of not holding longer, but whatever, whatever, man, whatever. Okay, so the point is that you most likely getting a bearish day here, because when we came up strong like that and we took out that pool, well, again, I mean, it's a highway here. So this push down here is a highway down, and then we're consolidating, and then the highway up, right? So we call that a balanced price range. And then same goes for here. If you see where I'm highlighting of yesterday's push, it was a highway up here, and then, you know, you're most likely getting a highway down, but, you know, whatever. I'm just talking with you, okay? So that being the case, we came back in, and we pretty much stayed inside that bearish imbalance from February 4th. Now peep this. There's no body right here. So now this is what I forgot to mention. Actually, 2 videos ago. I forgot to mention that 50-minute videos, and I'm still forgetting stuff. It's amazing. But there's no body there, literally. Yeah, we're wicking it, and that could have been suffice. But here they get a candle here, right? So now this next day here, again, with the seasonality and the conversation, this is what this is, right? But this is the way they performed it. So. Also, you know, with this stupid, we had a big push yesterday and then snapped back in. Okay, that was a big pin bar. I mean, that's all happened yesterday, right? So this came down for, again, that aggressive pushers. But that's what I was talking about yesterday about, you know, we squeeze up to get the easy sellers, and then boom, we get that big pullback. Kind of like I was mentioning here, I was mentioning that shit. Anyways, man. I could go on and on and on, but I'm so irked right now a little bit. It's okay, man. Whatever. Should have held longer. So that now that we're framing this here, let's get into it. You can see that again, we used it as an inversion yesterday to kind of go up, but like we don't get follow through. Asia London didn't do this, right? Like where you had this conversation of breaking out and higher highs, higher lows. Because when it gapped and pulled back, you should automatically expect a new higher high. But when you get this, look at the lows here. This low here from the PM. This is where I bought yesterday in the video live. Okay, that same buying. Look at over here. We take it out by a hair, I think, or we miss it. Yeah, we miss it by a hair, right? Yeah, exactly. See that? Missed it by a hair. And that right there, that equal lows with news today. We got unemployment news today, right? And then we have Asia's lows just sitting there, right? So that and plus these equal lows. See this? And you're going to say, well, why didn't you say that here? Well, because it could have sold from here, but it was already above structure to the left. In this case, when you're going to get a bearish day, you're going to get a kind of like a reversal profile where it puts in a low in Asia, comes up in London and New York, and then raids because they're using that liquidity that was. So it's your accumulation of buying here, manipulation up with the raid, and then boom with the distribution to sell. So open, high, low close for a bearish day, and so on. So that being said, you can see that we also had an algorithmic divergence here, and I'm doing this before anyone on the internet does this video. We had here, I know this is kind of dirty. You might be able to see it here clean. So notice how Nas did not get into the gap. And yes, that's a void of yes. And you're looking, oh, well, we're going to easily draw to it. Well, they're dirty and we know that they do that. But take a look at S&P. S&P does tag in. Doesn't even seal it, but it tags in, which I need to draw this for later because eventually one day we'll get. But again, it's a sign of weakness. And then we're going to be married to that. This is exactly what you want to see if you're going to get like some type of black swan event or you want to see some type of really bearish flow. And then you could see, I didn't draw it here, but there was, obviously, this shit here. So I'm just going to do it from a distance from there with Dow super high, lower highs. And then here's your next confirmation here, with not going inside the gap. That's an algorithmic divergence, okay? Let me go back to the video. So that being the case, let me do this. Man, let me tell you, I fucking got out early, bro, and I'm really pissed about it. Really pissed about it, man. I don't know why I do that shit sometimes, but hey, I'm not perfect. But you can see the 101.5 here on that little extension that I brought up. Remember my little circle? There it is right there. See that? When I was holding that trade live yesterday, and then we fucking came up, and then earnings just shot it up. Okay, cool. They were using earnings to raid that. Come on. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Buyers and sellers you see earnings and push it above there just to come right back down like that. That doesn't stop playing with me. Let me zoom in here real quick. So now that we have the narrative, I'm gonna drag this one back out here. I didn't do that. I don't want to cross it over. Just remember that level is also the same quadrant of the 25%, top 25% of that big bearish daily imbalance. And remember that first imbalance is from Thursday. Remember, we're still talking about the 12th of Thursday. Today's the 26th. Okay, so just so you know, right? Oh, I'm sure you know, right? So here, take a look at this. So I get in this cell here. We get the raid first, right? Sticking out buy side right here. Get the raid first, and then we have this inversion. I'm not gonna let me do this. All right, you can see this, right? So you can quad this daily gap here, you can quad this. I don't need to, you don't need to quad it, but I'm just going to do this for a second, man. I need to make this video short. So you can see that, you know, we're in this 25% to the 50%, and if I was to quad that again, we'll miss that eighth by a hair. But it wasn't really that necessary, so that's why I was saying it's overkill. But it didn't matter. The point is that besides the divergence, we get a break here. We get a change of delivery. Look at these candles here that are completely one-sided, right? And then we get a closure here. So how do I get involved with the sell? I'm already in right here. Here's a measurement from high to low because we break that low. And then we get a retrace back into where? 50% to the tick. Perfect. Oh, what's this? That's an inversion. So this candle is very strong and bullish. And I'm going to use that. And it has a gap on both sides. So it's a suspension block and it's going to be used as an inversion. So that's basically what I'm saying, right? So I'm already anticipating it to use it. So I decided for it to break, and then we have this bearish imbalance here. Notice how we don't take out that middle candle's high or the high of that, right? And yes, there's a bearish imbalance there. I did not draw it, and I can. I don't need that. And you're like, well, which one do I use? Well, you know, it's the confluence of it all, really. But hold on a second. The close is 397 and 3/4, and the open is 398. And yeah, that's fine. All right, so okay, so we're getting that. We tap in there, really beautiful. Like, dude, like they really wanted you to get in this trade. I mean, and yes, it's pre 9 o'clock, but the thing is you can wait for the 9 o'clock, which is now. This is this 9:0. Here's 9 o'clock. Here's 9:01 and 9:02. You would have been fine with any of those candles because they're pretty much digging. Once we close below that sequence of candles, so change the delivery, but you'll pop right back into this. And then I used this range. I literally said I want to see it come to 50%, literally. So if you can see that, move it over. You see you see that? So I'm literally waiting for that. Boom. And because you get this bearish imbalance here, and you're gonna usually get an early guy that sells, and then they're gonna rate it a couple times, and that's kind of what that is, fanning up for a hot second, just a bear flag in a way. And anyways, to overkill, we're underneath that daily gap here, and then we're selling off. Here's another bearish imbalance here. Again, that high doesn't get taken out right there, so your stop loss would have been there. You put it in the middle candle, you're gonna suffer a lot. But in this case, cool. So now the price, what am I doing here when I'm selling this? Well, I'm already attacking these equal lows here. It's just too many equal lows, right? So, and then here, the Asia lows, obviously. So, all right. So what do? I'm thinking a little myopic today, and I was happy with the trade. So what am I doing here is I know the settlement was here at the time I was selling it. So we were sitting there dancing on it. I literally was expecting for us to go lower first, and then we'll have the 930 down here, and then we'll come and we'll raid this. This is exactly what my game plan and setup was, which is exactly what we did. So we're holding into it. I'm not worried. I see that we're in a premium already. So at this point, you're not trying to buy up here. Like you're going to say, well, why didn't you say that yesterday here? Well, yes, this isn't a premium, but I didn't buy from here either, right? I allowed the structure to flow, and I could have bought that, sure. If you want to see if it comes in here and dips into that gap. But again, their agenda was to rush for this area that we talked about yesterday. So, and in this case, they're doing the similar thing, right? But anyways, you can see that the controller price is here, and it's just an order flow. 930 just shoots straight down. We don't, this first pullback, I allow this first pullback first. You can see that we dig right into that first imbalance. And if I was to have moved this pink bearish imbalance over, I just don't want it to be on top of each other right now. You'll see that we're bumping. Remember, it's the 50% is the actual 25%. We just tagged that perfectly. So I know this is a control of price right here. This is just look what I fucking do. So we pop up and then clearly drawing this control of price. So we come down again. We raid Asia's low, right? And then I look for 3 drives. So we get the 1 drive, we pop in, control of price. 2 drives, pop in, still holding. 3, okay? So then we get this, and I end up, now I'm using the first imbalance from yesterday, okay? Yesterday's first imbalance. Obviously, that was where the highway started up, right? That momentum. And then so I get out of the trade and then I buy. So we come to the 50% right here and we tag it. And I like that. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a nice push back up. No matter if we go up or down, like I wanted to kind of get into this breakout area and I wanted to see if we come back to this area because it was kind of easy to sell. And I'm a human. So I even lose sight of what the fuck I'm telling people days before. I'm like, yo, how the hell are you gonna make this mistake when you're the one that's fucking drawing it? like I'm human. Like I can, sometimes I'll go into like a miniature tunnel vision real quick. And it's like, deer in headlights type of situation where, cause I got ADD. And because of that, like, I'm just like, I'm kind of like, all over the place for a second. And I'm human. I know this. I know what my weaknesses are. You have to know what they are. But anyways, and it was worth a shot. I was happy with the trade. And then I saw this inversion here. We had a raid and inversion. I wanted to see us push up. And then I got out and I bought it here. Sure enough, we didn't see this 955 candle. We didn't close. Because the 4-hour candle is in play here at this moment, right? And at this moment, we're also dipping into this 4-hour imbalance from yesterday, which is that momentum. So again, because we could have went up one more time, is what I was thinking of it being like a bullish week, and then to the there was 2 options. Either we come all the way back down like I drew, or we were going to make another high for Friday and then next week maybe gap down and fucking come down. So that was what was in my mind. And yes, Thursday can be a reversal day and the high of the week, but it's not as likely. So anyways, all that being said, I took the buy here, right? And it failed. And when it failed, I'm like, dude, you are supposed to be holding this sell for back into this opening range gap. It's completely wide open. The 930 level as well, which we did come down to it. And then at this point, I dropped the ball here, and I kind of like took a step back and said, okay, well, I fucking fucked up. Number 1. Number 2, I don't want to push sell here. And sure enough, I was right. This is where I even doubted my own analysis. Or trusted myself, and sure enough, what did we get? So we got the bearish imbalance. The bodies are holding inside it. We get another one right there. You can see it tag at the 50%. I'm dragging over the first imbalance from yesterday, so very clear that I'm doing that. And then here we tag into this bearish imbalance, and that's at 50%. Look at this here. You can see that we ticked it there. We came underneath it, and that was resistance. And I'm like, bro, sell it. And at this point, my mind's telling me, yo, I'm not selling, and I'm not selling this low, blah, 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 and all this dumb shit. And sure enough, this ended up just shooting down and leaking. And I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? Kind of beat myself up for it. And it's whatever, it is what it is. But I'm happy with at least catching that sell. I ended up catching this buy here. I'll tell you in a second. But so here I fucked up, right? So this was, look at the resistance. So support, resistance, look at the imbalance. That's a perfect model. All right. But I'm not really looking forward to selling this right here. Cause it could have went a little bit lower and then, they could have whipped it up. I don't know. But sure enough, this was just this is a reversal. So it's pretty much just like this price action at the top left over here. It's pretty much like this going on, right? So, I fucked up. And I told myself to sell it here. I did not, but sure enough, leaked. Okay, cool. Let it go. It leaked all the way. And then I'm going to go in. I'll tell you about the VIX in a second. And but now we're looking at the previous day's low. Obviously, we have the sessions low yesterday, and then we have those equal lows from yesterday. Remember that? And then I knew I messed up. So I just didn't expect it to all happen like today. So it just, that's what it is. But if we're not taking the previous day's high, then we're looking to take the previous day's low, right? So, and then to make it even worse, I'm going to tell you this, to make it even worse, look at the high here. The high is 25,450. Let's just say 25,400. The average daily range today was 400 and something points. Just to say 400 points. What's 25,400 minus 400 points? Yes, 25,000 even. Fucking right here. Oh, duh. Where's the previous day's low? 25,000. Dude, I've been kicking myself almost all day because of the most easiest. This is not something that I should have dropped the ball in, but hey, I still took a monster trade from here to here and it's still great. I'm happy with it. But bro, oh my God, I got out early and I don't know. I was too zoomed in. That's another thing. This is why I don't like to do this. When you got that shit sitting here like this, yo, you can't see. Yeah, I might be looking at that, but I'm generally mainly looking at this, and it's like, dude, stop that, bro. That's not gonna work. So, anyways, man, this little maybe TMI here, but super fire. So, anyways, I knew I fucked up. That was the previous day low, the 400 point range, and they went an extra 100 points to where? To 880, 890. See that? See that? So anyways, we blow through that first imbalance from yesterday. We're coming in. I'm not dragging out all this opening range gap, but just notice that the levels are there, and I'll talk about it in a second. But because I was really thinking that we were gonna maybe bounce on this 50, and I was thinking maybe that a speaker was gonna happen because of the fact that that's a very common situation. But they had plans to just wipe out all these buyers. So whatever. So here's an old, back to this. We have the old gray gap here. We have the current week gap. And then this imbalance right here, which is very important. This imbalance is from yesterday. I'm sorry, from Monday. That's this week. That's why I talk about, so forget all the other ones in the past so much. But this is from Monday, this week, and Wednesday. So Wednesday and Wednesday are the ones that are really, really, really strong and used. So you see it working right there. You see it working beautifully right there. You can't make this up. And then we blow right through that gap, the gray one, and then we blow through the current week gap. Why? Well, the current week gap, remember I said everyone who was buying here, they knew that it was buying because it was a bullish week. So we're coming to hunt it. And obviously they got stops below it. They have people who are selling from below it. So they're blowing through and they're in a rush. They're in a rush to get out where? Isn't that a breakout area right there? Isn't that the same breakout area we discussed? Remember that? Remember when we had that shift of structure on Tuesday? They're coming right back to that area because they know that shit was easy. So they can't really get the monkey off their back. Anyway, so they roll through here. Watch this. Now they come down. It's pretty much the drives start kind of showing itself here. So drive 1, drive 2, drive 3. You might say, oh, that's an extra one. Oh, okay, call it 4. But we want to see a bigger pullback. This is a bigger pullback. So when I count the drives, they got to have a nice, decent pullback. So once the price is already down here, forget all this shit in between. Now that we've already rolled all the way down here, we know that we're going to get a buy here. Okay. And what does that look like? Well, you're going to look for the drive. So if you want to count it 4, count it 4. I'm going to count this 3 because this is pretty much together. And then that's a nice pullback and that's a nice pullback. But what's the real gist here? You don't have any imbalances here for an inversion play. Like I was trying to catch that one. Number one, you don't need that. As you see, this failed here. But it's only 1 drive or 2 drives. And I'll show you something else why none of this looked good. It was all suspect. You don't expect it to happen on the first time it drops either. You know they're going to manipulate a little bit more. But why do you think they do these drives? So whoever's trying to constantly buy is getting screwed, right? They keep knocking him out until he's tired of buying and then it moves. Huh. And then you got a divergence here. Look at this. Look at this beautifulness right here. So beautiful divergence right there. And then, which I'll mention the VIX in a second, but you'll see here that none of them have 3 candles consecutive. No 3 Indians here, but we have it here. You don't have to have that, but take a look. Look at the last down candle of each drive. It took 2 candles to engulf this one. All right. It took 2 candles, bullish candles, to engulf this one. It took 1 candle to engulf this one. And yes, that's a reversal type of candle, and that could have been an expansion right here. But guess what? And that was the 3rd drive. It could have been a 3rd drive. And that's where you might want to take your first attempt, if you even try to attempt it at all. Okay? I'm not saying you have to. But if you did, I understand that one. It failed. Guess what? But guess what? It's not an engulfing candle like this. That's what I'm trying to fucking say. And wait. Look at this one. Look at 1035's candle. Okay, notice how it closes and it engulfs above it. Okay, that's a change in delivery in 1 candle, which is great. Some people want to see it in 2 candles, 3 candles. Okay, but I've seen this a million fucking times, and so have you, actually, probably. So, oh my god. So, but as soon as we close above this 1036 candle, it opens and it digs in it. As soon as it digs in, I'm pushing buy. Why? Because of that reason. It's going inside the candle, and we have pretty much, you have everything you're looking for. You have the drives, you have built liquidity to the bottom half of this entire move, even bottom 25%. And where am I taking this? Oh man, hold on a second. My wife is calling me. Hey honey, real quick, I called to ask if was Riley's medicine for tomorrow, right? Okay, I'll call you back because I'm making the video now. Okay, I'll call you back. Bye. So we get that right there, and then where am I taking this to this buy? Obviously here. I got a big fucking green circle there. For what? Because the weak level. When we came down, people are also making decisions to sell, right? And I also have an imbalance here, right there. This 1014. You're gonna say, well, what about this one? Well, I highlighted. I want to get above. Hold on, she's texting me. I'm like, tell them you're my nephew and to hold and call me on 3-way. What, bro? I don't have time for that shit. Anyways, so you can see that we are sweeping above. We want to sweep above. Notice how my circle is starting right there at the level, at the top of the gap. Okay, on purpose, perfectly. If I show you the trade, you don't even fucking believe anyway. So whatever. So you see it here? Beautiful. It comes right to it. Now you're gonna say, what about this? Well, yeah, but what they like to do is they like to come up, squeeze as much as they can, and because they have squeezed everybody to the left here, they know that people are buying in here. Remember, they can't get us off. They can't get us off their back. Remember that. So that's why I got another circle here. So I take this buy to here. We get into this, and as you can see, that imbalances beautifully. There's no bodies in there, and it starts selling. I got out right here. I got squeezed out right here, actually. Not here, because it was just too much profit. I couldn't fuck around. I'm not fucking around. But what if they didn't sweep it, right? So, and then it rated again. So once it rated, I said, okay, cool. Can't make this up. Sweeps it, gets into this imbalance. They're going to leave that little control price. They're going to leave that alone here. They just wanted to get this little breakout area spot right there. See how it comes up and then boom, comes right down. And then we're pretty much getting that area. But then I see this candle here, just like the inversion I talked about up here with the bullish candle. I'm using this same idea. This bullish candle is strong. It pushes up, and I'm using that as a bearish inversion. It's a bullish inversion, okay? So right when we tag and we squeeze outside the gap, then we come in, and then we close the way we do. Then it starts to wick here. I push out immediately. Stop losses above these wicks, and then sure enough, just literally comes down and breaks down. Perfect. Comes underneath the gap. I'm looking for the flow. What was I trying to do here when I'm selling it? I'm just trying to get it to this circle right here. Why? Because this is where we fucking broke out from. We had the 3 Indians Okay, we had the 3 Indians, and then we had this guy, strong. It's clearly broke that swing here, and we're inside. Oh, we're inside Mondays. That's Monday's first imbalance. Remember? Look at it. Look at bouncing on the top. I mean, in the middle. You can't make that up. Yeah, and that's a breakout area. So they've created this structure all around this gap. Look at the 15-minute kind of holding there. Oh, and before I forget, look at the 15-minute here. Look at the 15-minute. This is where I knew I fucked up too. 15-minute here. You see this 15-minute? This 9:45 candle, how it closed right at the 50% of yesterday's first imbalance. Look where the 10 o'clock opened up. So now this is the 10 o'clock candle pushing down. So that's why I was like, 10 o'clock candle could do anything at this second, but I knew I fucked up, and it was a bearish day, and it was a sell by sell. So this is a sell by sell day for me. Okay. So sell by, and then really I'm looking at this at the bigger structure, sell by sell. So when I'm doing that, it's either going to be a dump and pump, or it's going to be a sell by sell if we're pushing down. Okay. So it became a bearish day, obviously. So when it comes down here, that's why I'm buying this, because I got one move that's straight down. Where's my move to? I used to talk about my sequence trading all last couple of years. I think I stopped talking about it this year, or even some of last year. But what's it called? You can see that this is move 2 to move 3. I'm sorry. So move 1, and then to move up is move 2, and to explain what I talked about. And then because we were buying, we need to come and wipe out these guys. So we're coming down to sell. Very simple and logical. Why? Because the guy holding here, he has been messing up this whole time. He's hungry to buy, and then they keep the price down because now they're screwing him over and bringing it back lower. So that, it's very obvious. Was it going to come below here or not was the question. I ended up getting out at lunchtime and said, fuck off. Because I didn't want to see this bounce from here. Because it could have. And it still could have. And it still can, I should say. But when I took the sell here, we come underneath. Boom. Underneath the weak gap. Come to here. Underneath this. You get the strong structure here, right? Come into the 50%. Now, you see, that's why I'm tagging this circle. I'm tagging the 50% because of these two guys and the breakout area. And I'm circling also this imbalance right here, right? Because once you get the momentum, it's people are buying here, right? So, and then, and we trickle down. There's nothing else I can say. If I look at the 50% here, fuck me, I'm tired of making long videos. I really am. I gotta go. This 50% here, if you look at this 50% to the right, look to the right, you see, which is this area. This is just an auction area, people call it, and it's using it as resistance. I knew that, but I just, I was impatient. It wasn't really following rules, and I was just kind of whatever, man. And then here's the bottom quadrant here. And as you can see here, that's where I was, and I should have took this sell here. And that's why I was like, I'm not messing with it. And it was just stopping. That was also yesterday's 9:30. We also have the opening range gap from yesterday. So look at the 50% of yesterday's opening range gap. Look to the right here. This is where I was also getting that sell from. Well, I took the buy to up here, and then I took this sell. Because look to the left here, you can see we're at that 50% as well of yesterday's opening range gap. Now, I normally don't use these opening range gaps for every single level and drag it across. I usually physically do it. I don't like doing that. That's just way too many levels on my chart. I'm not going to put it in eighths and all that. It's just too much for me to deal with. So I keep it the way I do it. And I reference them to the left here like this with the 15-minute chart. But yeah, I fucked up here with all that. But yeah, anyways, that's explaining some more of this fire here. Again, leaving that empty on purpose. Okay. And then breakaway imbalance here. You could have used that. Let's just take this high real quick. And then at 50%, once you get into that imbalance, you can see that at that 50%, it's an implied dealing range where a breakaway imbalance, it's a measuring imbalance where I've taught this before on this channel, obviously, where you could see that if you put the 50% here on that breakaway imbalance, you could kind of catch where the low is going to be today. right? But don't forget, more importantly, also that average daily range was 400 points, and we came right to that. We came extra 100 points, so we came 500 points. Average daily range 500 points. That's why I knew we were overextended, and it was time to take this buy. Hopefully that makes all fucking sense for you guys. And then here you take a look here, really obvious. We had gapped up here, and that pushed us completely down, all the way up, gapping up, all the way up, now to the overbought here, and that's when I took the sell. Okay, I was already in the sell before the gap, by the way, for us. But when we bought at that bottom where I showed you, this is where VIX was at its high. Ooh, look at that shit. Now we're pushing up. We were at its high, and then we bought up while VIX was selling down. And then when it got here, I saw this gap. I was like, oh, it wants to come to this gap and inside this little imbalance right here on the VIX. This is a 5-minute, by the way. That's why I'm using it. And then right here, you can see it getting to a 50%. The 5-minute is pretty strong. It's nice, but I mean, you just have to have experience using it. And then when it was here, yeah, now we're buying. I fucking told y'all. That's why I wasn't playing with them. You'll see what I mean in a second. So when we get in here, we're hitting that 50%. So now that I'm looking to take that sell that I took, right, from the new week opening gap. And then I bought it as it was coming up here. I started to squeeze out, and I got out at lunch, and I was done. All right, so that's that. And then fucking dollars pushing up. That's helping us come down. The divergence here, I talked about this, the algorithmic divergence. We had this divergence with a higher high and Dow completely on the higher time frame. And then at 9:30 here, as you see, we had a higher high here. With Dow, and then we had lower highs here, and then once we got fucking down here and I took that buy, we had a higher low with Dow, we had lower lows with NAS and S&P, and then when we got up here and I took this sell, we had a nice little mean reversion on Dow, but we didn't get that really big push. They're not going to give it to us on NAS. But they almost gave it to them. But yeah, they tagged in here, and on a 5-minute, that was all they needed. So instead of my 1-minute refinement that I showed you, that the one that stayed empty, if you're bearish, you want to see it not even stay in the upper half anyway. On a 5-minute, you can see that we're in the bottom half of that. So that, and then we had a lower high here with Dow and higher highs here. All right, that's fucking clear, man. All right, so here again, pretty much still going kind of sideways and still up and down here, and that's why, like, you know, who made money last, and that's why we sold off. To be honest with you, this is now maybe kicking into a bearish scenario, but we're still centered. Nothing really you can really say there here. So here's a pump and dump, and that's why I don't like Dow. You would rather just see it sell off completely and just ride the wave, right? So, anyways, dump, and then you can see it using its levels here, and then coming down, did not take out the previous AM New York session, and then bought all the way back up into this breakout area here, and lower quadrant, and then fucking took out that low. So that was a divergence there that happened. I didn't draw it yet because it just happened. I need to be done. I'm gonna draw from here to here. See that? And here's your I just told you it was gonna go back up possibly, and that's why I didn't fuck with it. And here you go. It's pushing back, fucking pushing right up right now. Right? Why did I say that? Because that's why I took this sell and I got out here. Why? Because it can buy from above this high. I know that. It could be a little double bottom. I'm not saying it's not gonna roll through. I'm just saying I'm gonna overstay my welcome. All right, I'm looking for 1 to 2 moves a day. If I get number 3 and number 4, lucky me, great. But that's pushing it, and I sometimes do push it. Okay, now can I have a couple trades just in this move 1 down? Yeah, right. I can have a couple trades moving down here. I can take the profit here, let it retrace, and catch it again, and come back down for another structured low. That might be 2 trades, but it's still the 1 move, right? So that's what I mean by move. I mean 1 direction. So this is move 1. All right, I got a piece of that. I didn't get all of it. Fuck myself. Move 2, I got that whole bitch. Move 3, got a nice piece of it. I have to walk away. At this point now, it's like, oh, now you start getting married to coming underneath this low and coming lower. Then they just start ripping it up, and then you might go on tilt, and you might say, oh, oh, I'm gonna sell it here. I'm gonna sell it here because you're so married to selling. You don't want to go. You don't want to go on psychology tilt either, right? So it's what the fuck else do you need to do? It's over with. I'm done with. I'm not gonna say anything more. Um, I'm only doing this because I want to make this video first, and I have to do something. Okay, and then obviously with this stupid ass drop, bro. Like that's what I was saying. I was talking about us getting into a nice fucking push up as like a lot, like as that we were gonna come up first before we come down type of thing, and then also talked about I talked about it in extensive situations like this. Like we were looking for this for a big bearish move, and we didn't really get that. We did get that here, and then if it was gonna roll over, like in this case, it just kind of like it came down, and then it just really started making lower lows and lower highs. So, but what it can also do, this is reminding me of a lot of 22 actually. Well, not so much 22, but yeah, kind of. Where you get this like back and forth shit, and then and then like I feel like we're like right here. If you look at 22, it's kind of like I feel like we're right here where we had this shift here, and then it's like lower highs here, and people keep trying to sell it, so they pop up, and then this rated that, and then they fucking sank it. I know I'm talking way too much here, but that's kind of like what I mean. And as you can see, like this suspension block is still in control. So and we came down. Now I'm not saying we can't push back up. Now I'm not saying that, but leaning, and in yesterday's video I said I was flexible to be bullish. I'm not saying forever, and I'm not saying I can't turn bearish right now. As you see, we're fucking dead center, dude. So, like I said, I think we're going to have this problem all the way until it shakes out in March. And when March starts coming, it's going to open up, fake move up, come down, and then however far it comes down, and then maybe we can go back up if it's a normal economy. Otherwise, we might see a bigger push down. But we ain't shaking the range until I think the following week, right? So, yeah, man. Just fire, man. 42 fucking minutes. I'm gonna forget something. Look at the body sitting right there at that first imbalance from Monday. Just sloppy, dirty. Talked about it being on the overbought here on the 1 hour. Sure enough, we were really extended, and we were, looking to come back down in. I had the right idea, but I just, I traded my P&L a little bit too much. It's kind of like I was focused on that, but whatever, man. I don't fucking care, bro. Whatever. I need to draw this before I forget, and from here to here is a liquidity void. And that's empty. What else? 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 Sell model here. So, and that's it. I mean, I gotta be missing something else. Staying in this area here. I didn't do any quadrants here. I'm gonna do it this way. So much shit on the try, so I didn't want to do that. I'm going to make it a little cleaner so you can kind of not get messed up by the Asia range. And where is that? 2 to 2.5. So I fucked up. My fault. But taking profit is still okay too. But I traded my P&L too much today. So there it is. We hit the 2 to 2.5, and then coming back up to a 1 to 1.5, and that's eventually the logic of me buying from here to here without even using a projection, right? So, yeah, man, and Where do we go from here? Just go back to the 23rd's examples. So right now, well, I guess I have to do a new one, but because we've already had that example pushing up, I'm gonna just show this again because I'm gonna let you know, man. Ain't nobody doing that on the internet. No one is showing that. No one on the internet is showing that for a fact. If I don't see 10 likes from you 15 people, I'm gonna be pissed, yo. I swear on my mother. I swear to God. Because my price is going up. Guaranteed, right? I say it all the time. So, yeah, man. I feel like I'm missing something, bro. See, this push down it's about to get ugly. I don't even want to trade for the rest of the week. I mean, it's only tomorrow, but I don't even want to trade the beginning of next month even. Because I don't want to fall into this shit, but I mean, it's look at it. It's an indecisive candle, right? So, and the weekly objective was already taken care of, right? We noticed how we already came up and we took out last week and the last week high of that. Like, I mean, there's nothing left to do, and it came back in. So now we're sitting there dead center. So Friday's plays, I don't really see one, but it's anyone's ball game here. I'm leaning back to neutral bearish. So if Friday just fizzles out, you expect Friday to maybe pop up a little bit here and then roll over. I think it's gonna do this. I think we're still doing this. Man. We're here. So I mean, I don't know if tomorrow's going to be a big day or not. It might fizzle out. It's either going to just stay inside the range of the weekly range, or we might do something like this. You know what I'm saying? And and then gap to next week and shit, and then I don't know. You guys take care. God bless.